My name is Pete Yak, or Yakovu, whichever you prefer. I'm the manager of Gloria's, which is a trainer and clothing store over in the East End of London, kind of Brick Lane area. Sometimes music journalist, but here in the footwear capacity for today. Certainly in the last few years, and maybe it's to do with the sort of the influx of different people, different cultures from around the world, which has really accelerated a lot in the last few years. So, you know, when I was growing up, or even 10 years ago, there didn't seem to be as much diversity as there is now in London, whether it's food, whether it's music, whether it's just people or whatever. I think everyone that's come over to London in the last few years has brought a little something, and people are sort of more receptive to other cultures now. I think having a sense of style and is a totally different thing to what's in fashion, and I think, you know, that's kind of my thing. You know, it's not about, you know, whatever the colour is in this season. You know, if it's cool and it looks good, if it's a stylish item, it will be next season and in a couple of years. And, you know, yeah, the first dunk was kind of late 80s, and that the yellow and blue varsity maize and navy. Didn't know where to get them. Saw an advert, I think, on the back of. I think it might have been the Observer magazine. I remember there used to be adverts for trainers at the back of the Sunday supplements, right? And they advertised that one, and I'm pretty sure it was the Be True to Your School original strapline of that particular dunk. Now, wanted them, couldn't get them, you know what I mean? Just after the late 80s, early 90s. Dunks weren't really available in London, you know, they weren't. You had to go to the States really to get them, you know, so people would come back with these like amazing colourways. Once they re-released the dunk to a UK audience, sometime in the 90s, not sure when, right at the end of the 90s I think, there was an instant audience for it, instantly. You know, it was like, right, bang, they've released that in 4 colourways, shit, I'm having them all, you know, and that was the vibe. Skaters started wearing them as their you know, shoe of choice, and then the whole SB kind of thing, explosion happened, and I think that's when the real kind of mad influx of dunks happened, kind of early turn of the century. That's the undefeated ones, which came out, I think it'll be just like kind of summer of 2005, and that almost kind of got me into really wanting to buy dunks again. I think these were the first ones that they put out with no lining. You slipped your foot inside, they felt like a shoe. You know, it felt like a shoe. You know, it's kind of leather lined all the way through. There's no lining to it, so it felt really nice. Also, kind of seeing images of this shoe prior to its release, and just thinking, man, look at that, what have they done? Every panel is different, you know, but it works. It's being able to throw it on and look like you've always worn it, you know, and I think that's the vibe, rather than it just being, oh yeah, it's a pair of trainers, I'll lace them up and pull the laces really tight and just walk out the shop and done, you know. It's not about that, it is about the look, and that ties in with your whole kind of vibe. And I think if you are that type of person, you kind of think in a certain way and move in a certain way. And I remember as a kid sort of, you know, buying a pair of trainers, or getting my sisters or my mum to buy me a pair of trainers rather, and then just kind of taking them home, putting them at the side of my bed, lying down on the bed like that, and just, you know, just placing them at a certain angle, so when I opened my eyes, that would be the first thing that I saw. Now, you know what I mean, it's like, whether that's sad or not, right, it doesn't matter. The point is there's a love, there's a connection there, and that's, you know, I've always had that with footwear, always. To do what you do and do it well and do it with conviction, you know. If you're into something and you do it and you do it well, you're not even thinking about doing it. It's a statement which is it's weird. I think that's a statement which is aimed at people that aren't almost true to their school, because people that are true to their school are doing it anyway, man.